So the fortress has been breached. India, without it, is well, surprisingly favorites in this series in South Africa. They've started the three-match series with a 1-0 win at Centurion. Daryll Cullinan will look back at it on ESPN for Match with me in a little while on the site. We'll also have Deep Dasgupta. But let me get Daryl's first thoughts here that this is now a convincing win, almost a signal and a statement made, Daryl, by India as this three-match series is started with a 1-0 lead for them.
Well, I don't think they quite expected it to have been this straightforward. And we just know as well that India aren't quite at their best yet. So from a batting perspective, I expect to see improvements there. The bowlers, I thought, were better in that second innings. They may consider Sharma. I'm not too convinced about Thakur. I can't see him really making a difference with the bat, so they might go with a specialist bowler. But well done to India. I thought they were the better team. They deserved their win.
What for you is, you could say, the most defining part of this test match? Was it the fact that South Africa batted poorly on both occasions, or was it that they allowed India to get to 300 plus in the first innings, and that lead of the first innings could, in the end, proved vital?
Well, I think it was definitely, for me, India's first innings. They set it up there. We came into this test match saying that the first innings is so important in South Africa. That third innings, the fourth innings is very problematic, particularly at this venue. And that first 2 hours, I think that gave India a tremendous amount of confidence. Rabada and Giddy were not at their very best. They were average down on pace. They didn't make India play particularly well. And I think that was just with all the expectation of the pace and the bounce. They got through that session and then established that 300. I don't think their batting was quite as good. I thought their tail would offer more. Coming into the series, I thought that's where, and I still stick to the opinion that series are often 1 year by their seventh and eighth partnerships of 60, 70 runs. So that's an area India need to look at. Whereas South Africa batting poorly twice, were they allowed to bat better? I still say I think they've got big technical issues. I don't think they're approaching Test cricket well as a batting unit, but definitely the batting of Rahul. You know, at this venue, 100 can set you up. And I think that's exactly, from a confidence point of view, India needed.
Yeah, I mean, that first, I think, was massive after Virat Kohli won the toss. Let's talk a little bit about South Africa, Daryl. And I wonder if you'd extend some sort of consideration or understanding to this team, or how much sympathy would you give them for the players for no fault players haven't played any real Test cricket going into this series? How much of an excuse is that at the end of this performance?
Well, it's not really an excuse, because what is the focus on Test cricket these days? We last played a few months ago, but in between that, there's been a lot of white ball cricket, I understand. Traditionally, you know, in our area, you had a lot of first-class cricket you built into 2 home Test series, whereas that seems to not be the case, and probably for all teams around the world. So the focus and the ability of teams and players to really apply themselves, and particularly technically. Yes, there's the talk about white ball cricket. It has influenced the Test game. Look what's happened to England in Australia. But I don't think we're following the basic principles of red ball cricket, which is a sideways game. This theory, and South Africa believe in it, that you bat on off stump, you bat outside of your crease. I've watched it for years now. That theory is flawed. The problem with that is you lose sight of where your off stump is. It moves, bowlers move with you. The DRS allows bowlers to refer it. So are you cutting out the LBW? No. In times gone by, you might have. And there was a classic example of why I have a problem with it from a few players, none other than Markram, getting out in the first innings. So you're on off stump straight balls, you have to square up, otherwise you're going to hit your back hip. So you have to square up, but the bat is not traveling down the line. The bat is coming from out to in. And everyone went, oh, what a great ball from Shami. It wasn't. I looked at it, it just went straight on. So playing down the line seems to have been forgotten. And, you know, there's funny trigger movements, there's shuffling, this idea of retracting the front foot where the toes aren't in line, you're moving across the crease. I think Test cricket as a whole, coaches and those that believe in that are seriously questioning it. Your argument doesn't, for me now, outweigh the difficulties that it leaves batsmen with. We weren't disciplined outside off stump. I think that plays a massive role as well. So the application and understanding. So that's, you know, this is a process that starts at junior levels. This is a process which also, it follows up to how you practice. And I just wonder, are they really actually understanding what the requirements are to play a long innings in Test cricket? And my answer is an emphatic no.
All right, strong words. It does seem like the fixes more than just personnel? Are you the next test is in a few days' time? Are you still happy with the personnel as South Africa have gone with?
I don't think they can change it. Will Urifi be fit? But Janssen got 4. He's more than useful with the bat. Let's be honest. He looked quite accomplished there, and he got that first day nerves behind him. So I don't think so. From a batting perspective, they got 1 or 2 like Ferrain or Rickleton. Will they now suddenly this lot have at least got a look? I do though, in being critical of South Africa, expect them to bounce back. Why? Because I thought Rabada and Giddy picked up on their pace. They bowled with more intensity in their second innings. So they need to just from there look to continue with that, make sure the support bowlers. I worry about Mulder. I don't think he's a four-seamer. Anything can happen with the bat. He's sort of the callous in waiting, but he's a long way off, if ever, to be that. Will they play Maharaj at the Wanderers? It's like Centurion. It's always the thought, should I, shouldn't I? I always thought spinners do a good job in the first innings, like I do think Maharaj can do. So no, maybe 1 or 2 changes, but in terms of changing personnel, I think now at this stage, if South Africa don't win the series, I think it's the end of him. I think even a drawn series may not solve Boucher's issues. There's big stuff looming off the field. I don't know if he's got the full support of the whole changing room. And clearly, under these trying times, I don't think he's bringing the best out of his team. So that's, this is now throwing everything out the bath. I'm sorry to say, but that's just the troubled times South African cricket finds itself in at the moment.
Well, you are saying that you do expect South Africa to bounce back. It'll be a tough challenge, though. This Indian team, is this as good a start to a 3-match series as you've seen from a visiting team, especially an Asian team in recent years, Daryll?
Well, Ronak, sides are generally around the world because of the lack of preparation going into a test series. They've battled, they've picked things going on into the second and third test match. You remember we were there at Cape Town by the third test on the previous tour. So it was vitally important that they started well. And I think this whole lockdown COVID thing perhaps helped them. They got here earlier. They spoke of before the test match being well prepared. And I think that is the difference. I've heard Mr. Gavaskar talk about 7 to 10 days for your body clock to get into the rhythm and the routine of a new venue, a new country that you visit. And I think that's very, very true. But in saying that, they played some loose cricket in this test match as well, India. Yes, perhaps they were chasing, trying to set the target. The first innings, their tail folded woefully. I mean, 30, 40 runs for 7 wickets. They need to tighten up and value their wickets a lot more. Because I'll go back to what I've said. Those partnerships down there could be the deciding factor for them to win this test series. But I don't think they're confidently, clearly way ahead of South Africa.
Yep.
But in saying that, I expect them to play better, and I expect South Africa to play better, but I don't know where it's going to come from. I mean, de Kock was woeful this test match. Loose, outside off stump. He's not even playing down the line of the ball. I wonder what presence he has as a keeper. And perhaps the time has come now to look at somebody else, give him a last chance with a bat. But there's Ferrain, who I think is a very good little cricketer, good keeper. Because we can't continue to that's the way Quinton plays. He's a senior player. He's played 53 test matches now. He needs to step up and take more responsibility and show more of a professional approach. Because down at 7, he should never be batting at 7 in the first place. But he seems comfortable with that. And to me, I have a problem with that. And I think he needs to be read the right act. He's got to improve his game. He's got to take it to next level. Otherwise, he averages 38. Why not give somebody else a go?
Yeah. How do you rate the trio of Bumrah, Shami, and Siraj, though? Let's keep Shardul Thakur out of this. He looked like a distance from the other 3. But as a trio to ask questions of a home South African batting side, how did you rate them?
No, that quality. I mean, Bumrah is something we know is something special. But, he just bowls those unbelievable balls, that really move across. He's got the one that goes straight on. But he bowls a lot of heart and a lot of intensity. Shami again, he was a bit ginger, I thought, once he got loose and he got his rhythm going. Again, he's always consistently in that right area. And that takes really good skill. Siraj, I thought, was a bit rusty. But as the batch got on, we saw things, as his spell gets longer, to me, he seems to bowl better. But the weak link is Thakur. They need to consider that. But the 3 together, you've got Shami, who does both, takes it away. You got Siraj, who can do a little bit of both as well. but they were very disciplined. I thought yesterday after tea, they really closed things down for South Africa. They got into that mode. We're going to bowl in that channel, be very patient. So there's some very good basics that they are following. So that obviously also comes from off the field as well.
All right, brilliant. Daryll Cullinan, plenty more from you as the action moves from Centurion to the Wanderers. Always a pleasure, Daryll. We'll speak in a few days' time.
Pleasure, Ronnie. Bye-bye.
We will see more of Daryll Cullinan then as the second test comes our way in a few days. Plenty of coverage. Watch out for Deep Dasgupta's Hindi review too, and there'll be a polite inquiries with for those Munda and myself that'll be up on site as well. India take a fitting 1-0 and a deserving 1-0 series lead in this three-match series. We'll see you ahead of the second test. A very happy New Year to all of you, including to you, Daryll Cullinan. See New Year's greetings to you and everybody at home. See you soon.